Good day, everybody. Welcome to Stream of Card Consciousness. I believe this is episode 20. Holy cow, we've done 20 episodes already. Great show today. We have a special guest with us. As always, my partner Greg Smith up there in the Panhandle of Florida. And also today we have Richard Kvorka with us. He's a longtime card collector, and he is a admin on the Stream of Card Consciousness Facebook page. And we're really excited to have Richard with us today. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, Mark. Doing good. How you doing today, Richard?
Doing great, and good to finally talk with you guys. And yeah, it's all good, and excited to do the show.
Right on.
Absolutely, man. I've talked to you now going on 2 years probably in the forums or on Facebook, and I've always kind of wondered, because I've never really talked to you in person, or you just, I've never heard your voice, so I've always wondered what the voice is going to be like, and it reminds me of an old roommate I had who was from Wisconsin, and it's just that Midwest.
Yeah. And I've always been told I have a nasally voice because I have allergies all the time. So
right,
you're probably hearing some of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have you on, man, and I think this will be fun. I think we've got some good things to talk about. So sure. Mark, I'm gonna let you lead off with cards of the week, and we can go from there, man.
All right. So cards of the week. For me this week, I got some really good ones this week. Let me see. First of all, Eric Amos. I got this beautiful
beauty
62 All-Star Hank Aaron. That's been a bucket list card of mine. It's a 1.5, but again, the card, not the grade. Look at that. It's beautiful. Got that from Eric Amos. Can't thank him enough. This one's been on our page, but got that from a partner right there across the screen from me, Greg Smith. That beautiful 3.5 59 Frank Robinson. This is probably my favorite baseball card ever. He got that for me. I love the setting, the place. It's Plant Field in Tampa, not to be confused with when they moved to Plant City for spring training. So this was an old stadium in Tampa that all the 1959 Reds cards for tops are with that backdrop. So I love that. That was from Greg. I can't thank him enough. I almost wept openly to him. This one I go raiding in the great state of Ohio. I'm not going to tell you the website, but it's my fun. And I got this beautiful. This is of the Sandberg rookie cards. I think that is the best one, the Fleer. And that thing is just perfection. I mean, it's got to be, everyone wants to say, oh, it's a 9 or a 10. I think that's pretty close. And then we got this one. I'll take this. So I got this yesterday in an antique mall where all the cards were about 5X over what they should be. But the ones that weren't were surprisingly enough. So people to watch the show know I rock and play guitar and all that stuff. Ace Frehley, 1978 Kiss card.
Nice.
Cheer for Kiss.
Is that his rookie?
This is not an Ace Frehley rookie. I think 77 is the rookie, but it's a year Ace Frehley. And I will play some God of Thunder later tonight on my guitar. Well, that was a Gene song. We'll play some Shock Me, a little Shock Me. That's an Ace song. Ace sang that. And then this one I'm going to give away. Last week, cards of the week, we did the moon at this antique mall. Believe it or not, because Bernie Shepard had sent me a bunch of moon cards, NASA cards for my daughter Dane, who is up in Washington working with NASA. So I got all these moon cards, so similar to like we had last week. But in there, I got 2 moon rookie cards. So, rookie card of the moon. So I am going to give away a moon rookie card to the first person that comments on this week's video. I'm going to do something a little different. So just drop a comment. Love the show. Love the moon. Space is cool, whatever. And you will get that, you'll get that card sent to you by me, the moon rookie cards. Those are my cards of the week.
I wish I had a Warren moon to throw in there with it.
Yeah, I would really appreciate the regular moon more than the Warren moon because, it wasn't a Buffalo Bill. So those are my cards of the week.
I got a couple comments on those, man. The first one, the Frank Robinson, looks so much better in a tux. Just that black background. It's so great. And I don't know about you guys, but I was 7, 8 years old when Kiss was huge, and were you guys both Kiss
Oh
fans?
yeah, Kiss Army still am.
Who was your favorite?
Ace,
Ace.
definitely. Yeah.
What about you, Richard?
I was more into AC/DC a little bit.
Okay.
A year or two after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right on. Right on.
Angus Young. There you go. Can't go on there.
Absolutely. I think my favorite Kiss guy was probably the Cat, Peter Criss.
Peter Criss. All right. You were a drummer though. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those that don't know, Greg was a drummer.
Yeah, well, I've drummed. I don't know if I consider myself a drummer, but I've drummed.
Come on. All right.
But anyway, so those are awesome cards of the week, man. I'm gonna go through mine real quick. You know, and that Frank Robinson, man, no problem. It was cheap. It wasn't super expensive, and I know that you love that card. So
that black background is just so cool looking, and even the Aaron, like you say, buy the card, not the grade. That does not look like whatever grade they gave it. A
1.5. That is a 1.5. It's absolutely crazy that that's a 1.5.
Yeah, it is really nice. You're right. All right, so my cards of the week, I've got 5, and I'll go through them real quick. I've always thought this card was pretty cool.
Traded it's a tough year to get a high grade.
Which one? The 62s?
62s, yeah.
Yeah, it is tough. It is tough. So my first one's the Ozzie Smith, the Traded. I've always thought this was a cool card just because it's his first Cardinals card. So got that one in a sale. Got this one at 73 Rod Carew Kellogg's. It's one of the only Kellogg's issues that's not actually that weird texture. It's like an actual card, and it's got a little crease on it, but I've always thought that was cool. And you know my thing for Rod Carew, so that's that one. And then I've got, Mark, you got me this one a little while back, actually, and it's 63 Yaz. So that's one of my cards of the week. It's a little bit of an oddball, I guess you could call it, but I love it. And then this one here, going back to my theme with liking oddball stuff. This is a 76 Hostess Carlton Fisk. Good colors on it, the red, white, and blue, appropriate for this week. So I always like that card. And then last one, and I've had a debate back and forth on this one, what to do with it. I think I might actually just end up giving this one away. 61 Hank Aaron. It's beat up, but I mean, I didn't really spend a whole lot of money on it. And I think that would be a nice giveaway card just for somebody who it would mean something to somebody, because right now it's just staring me in the face and I'm not real sure what to do with it. So I think I might just get rid of it and send it to somebody who really loves Hank Aaron. So we'll see, but that probably will be later on in the week. Those are my cards of the week. I don't have a whole lot. Just been buying, like usual, a lot of bulk stuff, so nothing really special, but that's what I have. So there you go.
Can't go wrong with Hammer and Hank, right?
Right. Hank Aaron's a feature on today's show, apparently.
Yeah.
But so Richard, what do you have? You got any cards of the week, man?
I think both of you seen all of them or most of them. Just picked this up yesterday.
Right on, Hank Aaron.
61 Hank. Surprisingly, it was priced pretty fairly. Like Mark said, a lot of this stuff at the shows and antique stores is 1 or 2, 3x, but this actually was priced pretty fairly. So nice. Greg, you know about this baby?
Oh yeah. You stumbled into that one. That was a good find right there.
Just totally lucky there. And probably my favorite of these, I have one more or 2 more actually, but probably my favorite of these 4 is this one, a 63 Brock. So I'm as y'all know, I'm a Cubs, huge Cubs fan, Hall of Famer. And, obviously he didn't spend much of his career at the Cubs. And all I could think of is Ernie Broglio, the guy they got for him. But this is just a cool card to me. So these are all staying with me. And as Mark says, probably going into the dirt with me. And then
that's my saying, in the dirt.
Yeah. I picked this up at an estate sale 2 weeks ago from a member that I think, Greg, Susie. She had an estate sale going, and this is just this is an SGC 9 Sandberg Fleer.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
the the irony of the cards of the week. I got the Donruss and you got the Fleer. So that's funny, and all the Hank Aaron's. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
we're all checking the
Great
same
minds
boxes.
think alike, or we have similar taste, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and people, we didn't discuss this beforehand. This is all off the cuff, as you know. We don't script, we don't talk about it. We hit the button and go. So the fact that we're all sharing the same cards, that's pretty amazing.
That is pretty remarkable, man. I was just thinking the exact same thing, that we haven't talked about any of this. So, you know, a lot of shows are produced and you have an outline and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's nice to have some structure every once in a while, but this is just great, man. Seeing what everybody, and I wanted to make a comment on the Sandberg rookies. Personally, I don't have a lot. Wade Boggs was my guy in '83. I loved him. But Sandberg, all three of those, I think the companies did a really good job with. The tops is good. It's got a batting shot. Donruss is just beautiful. I think the color of the jersey, and then the Fleer, the action shot on that one is just outstanding. So I think they all did a really good job with Sandberg in '83. You know, so those are great cards, man. Hank Aaron, you can never go wrong with Hank Aaron. You know, the movie, see how that goes. That's going to be funny.
Yeah, see who wants the moon.
But yeah, great cards of the week, Richard. Yeah, great cards of the week, man. Really nice. And I know you're excited about the banks, and you sent me a picture of the Aaron yesterday, and those are great cards.
Yeah.
Man. So good for you.
I only got 2 cards at the show, so that was one of them, and that show was near Milwaukee, which I think we'll talk about later. But so there was a lot of Aaron there. So
right, I bet. Well, yeah, great cards of the week, man. So, Mark, what else you got for us this week, man?
Let's one thing we were talking about, our PCs and like how married we are to them, and I know mine has gotten a little bit carried away, and been thinning out my PC, and like just basically your thoughts on like your personal collections. You know, is there some revolving parts? What players are you married to? Like for me, Hank Aaron's untouchable, Luke Easter untouchable. You know, Andre Dawson, I'll move some in and out, but this is an example of how I need to thin out. Like, do I need a David Price rookie card and a PSA 9? And I'm not a modern guy. Greg knows the only thing I do in modern are like relics and autos. I am addicted to relics and autos in modern. I can't help it. But, you know, do I need a Steven Strasburg 9? No. Do I need a forever hurt and disappointing Byron Buxton rookie? No. So I think that's interesting how we approach our PCs. And now what am I going to do with these? I have no means of getting rid of them or selling them. So now, you know, I'm kind of stuck with it. So how do you all approach your PC? Curious to hear from you, Richard, just being, you know, first time on the show.
Well, you know, what's interesting is, and I think I learned a lot from both of you guys, but, you know, I was a set collector, and the term PC has obviously grown on me. And the ones I did pick out a few more for my PC, but, you know, these have value to me other than whatever the monetary value is. And I think that's what makes them special. And, you know, one of them I think I got when I first started going to shows with my dad. It's an 80 card, but I believe I got it in 80 show in 85. It's a 9 Gooden. So we had it graded, or I had it graded, but yeah, that one, and you get a couple other ones. But yeah, these I don't see myself getting rid of these. And, you know, unless I really need it for something with my family, that would be probably the one thing. You know, still got 2 kids to go into college, so who knows? Right. But yeah, they're special to my heart. So
it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think you make an interesting point, Richard. And you know, when I was a kid growing up, I was always after the set. There wasn't really a PC per se, a personal collection in my vocabulary. But, you know, 30 years later, my father-in-law passing away, I think pretty much anything that he might have left me is going to be my PC. I can't in good conscience do a whole lot with that stuff. But when I got back into this, in 2019, it was right before the pandemic hit. I was really kind of lost. And, you know, there's a 30-year period where I didn't really collect at all and didn't see any cards and didn't really think about them, honestly. You know, they were kind of wiped from my brain. Getting back into sets, I mean, when I first got back into this, I was buying local stuff. I was buying like 89 Donruss and, you know, 90 top sets and anything I get my hands on just to dip my feet back into the water. And as it's gone on, my personal collection really focuses right now on Yastrzemski, you know, trying to do my raw and then my SGC run. And then I've kind of thought about this a whole lot because like you, Mark, I think it's kind of ballooned a little bit out of control with what I'm going to keep. And it's when you sell cards, you know, I don't do this for a living, but I do it enough where you know, it's part of what I do. You tend to struggle a little bit, I think, with what you're going to keep and what you're going to sell. And I know for sure that I do that. I'm a set guy still first, and Mark, I know you're not, so maybe this doesn't resonate with you, but you know, and it's okay. I mean, you don't like the sets. I get it.
I just, for whatever reason, I don't know. I never was able to do it when I was a kid, and I just can't. I don't know. Like I said, I got a 91 Fleer, 89 Fleer, and 87 top sets that I put together. And the 91 Fleer, I got in a box of stuff. So don't anybody think I was spend time putting that thing together. So,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
so I think what I've really narrowed mine down to at this point with other than Yastrzemski is I'm going to gravitate more towards mythical people to me. You know, I was born in 1970. I didn't see guys like Roberto Clemente play really, or Gale Sayers is a good example. I think I'm going to start PCing some Gale Sayers. I love just the myth of how good he was and how, you know, guys like that, Clemente, Sayers, you know, Jackie Robinson. I don't own a single Jackie Robinson card. I would love to, and I plan to at some point in the future. But he's just almost like he wasn't even a player. It's just like he was a cultural icon, you know. So those kind of people to me are the ones that resonate. You know, Wade Boggs. I mean, I loved him when I was a kid, but you can get Wade Boggs anytime. It's the cards, you know, it's the cards that really kind of speak to me from a more of a cultural standpoint, I think, maybe than the others. It's always an interesting, moving organism, I think, your personal collection. And as I'm now almost 4 years back into this collecting and in the hobby, for me, it's evolving and it's something that I'm still trying to refine and I'm a little bit overwhelmed right now, honestly, and trying to fit some of the stuff. So, you know, I'm looking over at the table that I took a picture of yesterday, and it's just a mountain staring at me, and I've got a lot to do. So, you know, I'm kind of babbling right now.
No, it's all right. They're streaming card consciousness.
My personal collection, right. So, do you guys have any thoughts on any of that? I mean, I
do, but real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I think that when we get unburden ourselves, as you said, it is invigorating and liberating to be able to say goodbye to things. You know, I buy a ton of tonnage, right? And, you know, I keep the Hall of Famers, the stars, and I throw out the rest. And it bothers me, but, you know, I do it. And then I feel I don't have a mountain of stuff. But as far as like your PC, one area I'm going to keep going is I'm going to thin out everything I have other than like my Aaron and the things that people give me personally, the Luke Easters, Andre Dawson, you know, things that people give me, I'll never get rid of. And I'm going to keep pursuing those Laughlin Black Stars. And they're very expensive. So I think I would like to get, you know, if I could swap some of this garbage for some Laughlin Black Stars or Negro League players, I'm going to do that. And that's kind of my mission in the future.
Yeah. And you probably could totally do that. So Richard, you know, I, when you and I first started talking, you told me that you had every set from 1968 till now. Is that still where you're at?
To about 2010, but a lot of those a good chunk of those I did get from my father. So, but and like you, I was out of it for 30 years, and what got me into it was completing the 75 set. That was like my first. I had some 73 and 74 cards I bought, but 75 was really the year I started collecting, and so I completed that set, and then I've gone the last the prior 7-8 years before that. So,
And now you're working on 66 and 67 still, right?
still am, and those are going to be the last two that I ever do. Tape that. Let's. I think I realized that while the set collecting's fun, you just can't have every card. And I mean, I'm chasing high numbers, as you know, that are some of them are players that most people probably haven't even heard of, that are, you know, not necessarily cost effective. So it's fun. It's a great challenge. It's like a puzzle, but I think I'm going to move towards PC items after this. And it's just, you know.
Now I know you're a big Cubs guy. Have you given any thought to what, I mean, Banks obviously probably, I wish it could be more Brock for your sake and the Cubs' sake, but you know, what have you given any thought to what you think you might PC in the future?
You know, certainly any Cubs Hall of Famers. I do now have all of Santo and Williams, which, you know, they're some of them might cost a little, but they're actually still relatively not hard to find. You know, rookies are 61s. You can get them for a decent one for a pretty fair price. So you know, so I do have those. Some of those were kind of just by like default. Oh, you got one of those? Yeah, I'll take one of those. Yeah. So,
What is it?
And then you know, possibly some of the real older ones and stuff, but you know, I haven't gotten into that. I'd still like to get all the Banks. I'm missing 3 big ones, and then a 63. So.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been interesting talking about, you know, everybody's different kinds of philosophies with it. And, you know, Mark and I have talked about at length about what we're trying to do, you know, because at the end of the day, when you have two 400 count boxes of PC items, it's probably time to thin out. And that's where I'm at, you know, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just like, okay, I see a cool card like that Hank Aaron. I mean, you know, 6 months ago, there would have been no chance of me selling or getting rid of it. But I don't need it, you know, so that kind of stuff. But do we have any further thoughts on this, you guys, or we do shout outs, or where do you want to go with this?
Real quick. You guys recently went to the card shows. Brief talk about that. How you guys felt about the card shows? What were the pricing? I know Richard went to a bigger one than me and you did, but you know, vintage versus modern. What was going on out there in card show land?
Yeah, so Richard, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I went to a show about an hour away yesterday in the Milwaukee area, but like a little south of Milwaukee proper. And there was 4 or 5 rooms. It was in a Salvation Army Center, and I'd say probably about 75% modern and 25% vintage. And there's. I think I sent Mark a picture of a Will Clark rookie. That was surprised, and it, by the way, it was not a Tiffany.
That price should have been something.
They were asking $20 for it. I'm like, nah. So, but yeah, there's definitely some overpriced stuff. At 57 Banks, I saw where the seller says it books for 400, but you could have this one for 70. But it looked like it went through the wash a few times. So I'm like, nah, it's, but yeah. So I think it's probably similar to what you guys see overall in the hobby. There was no $75 value boxes. Trust me, they looked. You know, it's fun. You get to know, as you go to them, you get to know other collectors and dealers. Like I'm sure you know a few people now when you go to that show in Northwest Florida. So that's also adds to it. So I don't really go always with something in mind. I did go to look for high numbers, but I generally give myself a mental budget so I just don't get out of hand. Or otherwise, I'll just start buying stuff like crazy. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you make a good point with that, because at my show last weekend, I do know the people who are putting it on, and it was cool. It was one room. I mean, it's not Chicago or Milwaukee or whatever, but it was cool. And what I think I've seen, because they do a show once every 6 months down here, and what I saw is basically the same thing I saw in December, was a lot of overpriced modern. I think the dealers, I think the people who have heavily invested in that are kind of clinging to the life raft right now still with that kind of stuff. And it's pretty much the same price. There wasn't a lot of vintage. There was some. I mean, I think I took a picture of a couple banks to send to you, Richard, and I fell into that $75 box. I basically was looking through, and he's like, "Make me an offer." And I said, "You tell me how much you want." So I didn't. That's not normal, that box. And as soon as he told me how much, I had to jump. But there's not a lot of value vintage, I think, at these shows, because I think modern collectors who have vintage realize that maybe there's a little more stability there. And at shows, I think too, there's a dichotomy where it's all about book. It books for this. What book? I mean, you're using 92 Beckett. What are you doing? Whose book are you using?
Remember that guy, Greg?
I heard
That's
that probably 10 times yesterday. It books for this, it books for that. Well, I'll just keep walking.
Yeah.
Remember Greg? Not to interrupt you guys, but remember the guy that we were in that sale, and he says, "Is the book of sounds good to me?"
Yeah. I will never ever forget that. That's so exactly
funny.
What he said.
That guy was a trip.
Yeah.
You asked him what price guide or what book are you using? He's like, "It's the book of sounds good to me."
Right. That was one of the classic all-time lines I've ever heard.
Was that the guy with like the $40 Scott McGregor rookie cards or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
He had a $40 1975 Dusty Baker.
And see, this is what I love this show, because we can just veer off. So then he had a Don Baylor, a 75 Don Baylor for like $40. So Greg goes, "Is that autographed or something?" And he goes, "No, it has an embossed facsimile autograph." We're like, "Oh wow, $40 for a 75 Don Baylor for the embossed facsimile."
It was unbelievable, man.
So then Greg goes, "Well, not trying to be rude, everybody does their own thing, but where are you getting these prices? What price guide are you using?" He goes, "It's the price guide that sounds good to me."
Right. Yeah, it was fantastic.
He was talking it at least there. That's a good response.
And I was dancing around, not jumping his post, because I mean it was close, but I was just like, man, this guy. And he's a pretty well-known seller on the green page. I'm not really sure what he was doing, but that page seems to be the Wild West. It was fantastic.
That was one of the best nights. Right. I think that's the night that like really cemented mine and Greg's like friendship and brotherhood, because it was late at night too. I remember as an oddity, because Greg and like James Crawford know, man, if I'm awake past like 9 o'clock, it's a miracle. Teacher life, right? And my wife gets up early to go to work at 4:30, saving lives, being the nurse, and all that stuff. So it happened to be, I was up, and it was like 11 o'clock. He's like, "You seeing this?" I'm like, so it was a lot of fun, and we'll laugh about that forever for sure.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of that 77 Buckner I saw at that one shop for $20.
Yeah.
You sent me a picture of that, Richard, and I was like, "How many Buckners? Is it just one?"
Exactly.
50? Yeah.
Right on.
What, guys? I got a funny stat. I literally just heard a baseball stat, and I want to share it with you to just throw a little something different to the show. This baseball player in 3 straight years had 200 hits, 35 or more homers, and 100 RBIs in the 20th century. So the 19.
Did we lose him?
Only one player did it, and you all know him.
So 200 hits, 35 home runs, and 100 RBIs.
Yes, in 3 straight years. Only one player was able to do that in the 1900s.
Wow. It's got to be somebody like, well, it's not Brett. It's
No.
definitely not Williams or Mantle or any of those guys.
No, you're definitely in Brett's timeline, and think your team. So
Wow. Oh, Jim Rice.
you got it.
Wow.
I love Jim Rice. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me guess: 77, 78, and 79.
78 to 80.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
78, he exploded. I mean,
Yeah.
he had 400 total bases. He was crazy in 78.
He also saved the kid out of the stands that got
Yeah,
hit.
just the fall ball.
Yeah, he sure did. That's you know, for all the people throughout history have said how surly and mean he was. I mean, him doing that with that kid, you know, that's what you do, first of all. But
Yeah.
you know, he was on Nesson for a while doing games with or post game with Dennis Eckersley, and he seemed like the nicest guy in the world. So I don't know. He may have gotten a bad rap along with Ted Williams. I mean, who knows?
Right.
So
well, that's business. You know, people today, you know, we're all supposed to be happy and in touch with their feelings. And, you know, I say all the time, everybody love everybody, but still, it's okay to be a little gnarly every now and then. We don't always have to be a bunch of sunflowers, you know. We all have our moments. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. People need to understand it's okay to have a bad day, you know. It's,
right.
We're not perfect.
Totally agree, man. Because yeah, if you're not having a bad day every once in a while, then you're either
not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah, that's a good point. You're not doing anything, or you're keeping everything bottled in, and one day it'll just explode. So yeah, everybody needs to have a bad day every once in a while.
So you can't label that person, you know, for the rest of their career. They're people just like we are. I mean, the statistical analysis of life and all categories pertain to them as well as it does to us. So, you know, we need to remember that they're just happy to be good at hitting a ball or catching a ball or shooting a ball. And, you know, maybe, you know, you're better at something than them. You know, I guarantee I'd drop one of them guys in my classroom and their heads would explode. So, you know, we all have our things, right?
Right. So Mark, man, what you've been to a show recently too, man. Tell us your experience.
Oh, the show in Lakeland, Florida. It was it was all pretty much modern, shiny this, shiny that. I got that Satchel Paige I showed last week. You know, it was different because the vintage, there was some really nice stuff there, but you know, you can't pay 3-4 times. And for me, you know, reselling, I understand they need to make some money. I need to make some money. So, you know, I had a good time though. I did get the Hank Aaron's and some Josh Allen's, and, you know, I enjoyed it because I hadn't been to a show in about 30 years. So, you know, I had a really good time, and, you know, but it was a younger crowd, and even my daughter went in with me, Shasta, and who's our show producer, and she was even like, man, kids are kind of rude, and you know, all the kids with their Peloton cases and all that stuff, and you know, cutting deals out in the hallway. You got 8-year-old kid with a bankroll like that. It's a different world. It's economics versus having fun with it. And I'm glad you asked me about my show experience. I want to get this in real quick. It's kind of like how we do the show. Can't thank everybody enough that's been watching. Our numbers are doing great, but the camaraderie and the family on the Facebook page. So yesterday I had a sale over the weekend, and a new buyer for me. Don't know this guy from Adam, but this is the point of cards, trading, hobby, anything. Bill Page. He was a sale well. I mean, Greg called him. He was the sale well. And he was in there and he did his thing, and he just bought a ton of stuff. He bought the most cards, and dollar wise got the prize for that. But then we started talking, you know, through Messenger, you know, what are you into, this and everything, you know, friendship. And then he's talking about his daughters getting into it. And I think that's really great. They're in the Cleveland area. So I'm a huge Cleveland Indians fan, you know, Guardians now. So Bill's talking about his daughter, Elsie, you know, Elsie Page in Cleveland. And Elsie Page is starting to collect. And of course, she likes the moderns and the shinies, but she loves all things Cleveland. She loved LeBron, and she's a little girl. Now she's into the Guardians and the Browns, of course. So, you know, Bill Page, this is for your daughter, Elsie. This is a Tristan McKenzie. Topps Chrome. Nice. I hope she likes that, but that's for Elsie. She's the next generation. We at Stream of Card Consciousness, we appreciate her very much, and I appreciate you being my sale well, so to speak. So that is for Elsie. And then I was talking about what in the heck am I going to do with these modern cards? Well, This Byron Buxton double bonus. We didn't talk about that. That is going to be for your daughter as well. That's for Elsie. So Elsie, you've got your beloved Cleveland Guardians, Tristan McKenzie, and one of the finest players in the game, if you can stay healthy, in the 9.5, a Byron Buxton rookie card. So those are going to Elsie Page in Cleveland, Ohio. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bill. It was a great pleasure and honor getting to know you through the messages, and thank you so much for participating in my sale. So that's what I got on that.
Well, that's cool, man. And Bill, I've seen him. He does some sales too. He's a pretty good seller. Circling back around to the attendance at the shows, and I think that's great that you're doing that, man. Tristan McKenzie might be the skinniest player in Major League Baseball history. He's a skinny guy. But circling back, seeing all these young kids at the shows, whether or not they have manners and how big their bankroll is, I think it's good for collecting and for the hobby itself. It was not something that kids did for a while, I think, from what I've read and understood. And it's good to see them all back and doing this. So, do they need some etiquette lessons? Maybe, but it's good to see them at least interested in sports cards, and maybe that speaks well for the longevity of collecting. So
if it gets them away from a electronic screen and they're doing sports cards, that's probably another benefit there too. So
right, exactly. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to do something a little more extra for Elsie besides just McKenzie, because I wanted her to know that, some old guys, we can relate to you, kid. Right on. We love you.
Absolutely. Well, other than that, man, I've got a couple of shout outs. Richard, I want to give you a shout out, man. Those 71s have really kind of launched me right into the area of, hey, I might actually finish this set. So I appreciate that, man. I really do.
It's doable. That set is doable.
Yeah, it is. And I've been scouring the pages looking for high numbers and SPs and having some pretty decent luck. And Mark, you tagged me on that sale this morning, so I appreciate that. And then Mark, a shout out to you too, man, just for being you and keeping it lively and interesting. And there's been Wayne Chan sent me, gave me a really good deal on a bunch of nicer 71s that I needed. So, it's been great, man. And just having a whole lot of fun doing this hobby and, buying and selling. And I got a big sale going on yesterday, did pretty well. And today's going to be a continuation. So hopefully see everybody there. And those are my shout outs for the week. So if you guys have any, have at it.
Go ahead, Richard. Anybody you want to thank or talk?
Shout out to you too. Yeah. Being who you are. And and certainly allowing me or having me be an admin, that was honored to do that. And I think what's great about the hobby isn't it's really the people. So that's important. And that's what I got.
All right. Thank you. I got a couple real quick. As always, the love club here, but Greg, and Richard, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You sent me the pictures of those Luke Easters that you picked up for me. I can't thank you enough. That was totally unnecessary. But again, that's the bond of brotherhood and what we're doing. Moving forward.
I got them out yesterday too, Mark. They're already out of this area, surprisingly.
Well, I can't thank you enough. That's my guy. That I love Aaron, Luke Easter, and it's an odd one, and I can't thank you enough. And those will go in the dirt with me. And I thank you for being on the show. Obviously,
a little side story there, Mark, at the show is honestly not until I got to like the 6th or 7th dealer did anybody even know who he was. But bam, 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 bam. One guy had 4 cards.
That's why I love him, because he should be more known and thought of. And he gave his life a hero trying to stop a bank robbery and died, sadly, taking the shotgun to the chest. Well, Luke Easter is one of my heroes. And thank you so much there for that. I got to thank my family for helping me do this, allowing me to do this and the time to do this. And, it's been really great. I want to take on more of a directorial maybe role, but yeah, definitely Richard's going to be more of a regular contributor. And we're going to have a short out this week about his. We put Greg's experience out at the card show and mine. So we're gonna put a little 1 minute short up of Richard's highlights from his card show adventure, and be on the lookout for that. So that's all I got for this week. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody. Let's not forget it's America's birthday coming up. I think
247 years old, man.
all right. So God bless America. You know, we might have problems right now, but it's because we're allowed to screw it up. Democracy is a beautiful thing. So, you know, it's okay not to get along. It's okay to disagree as long as you do it respectfully. And, you know, God bless America. So there's no finer place in the world because we get to talk about cards and life and have a good time. So, all right, everybody, you all have a good 4th of July. Thank you for watching. Greg, Richard, take care.
Till next time, be kind to everybody. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Mark. Everybody have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July, guys.